Bill's defense is better than Buffalo's, and Bill's defense is better than Minnesota and Dallas's defense.
That's not boding well for these guys, not at all, especially with the chemistry the way the Eagles have had these past couple weeks.
Yep.
Well, actually, basically for the entire season, with the exception of the second half of the Washington Redskins game, they have been atrocious. You know, we're talking about a team that was, slated to go out there and score a lot of points.
Right.
They built the team around this offense. They went out and got 3 high draft picks for this offense, and they haven't went out there and produced at this point. So it's going to be tough, man. So as we go through this, I'm anxious to see what the simulation has, going into this game.
Now, Buffalo's defense is the third-ranked defense in the league offensively. They're very mediocre. The young quarterback, Josh Allen, is still a work in progress. On the real season, he has 7 touchdown passes and 7 interceptions. And, of course, the Eagles get to him early right here and drop him for a sack. They need to get in Josh Allen's face in this game.
Absolutely, and what you saw there was a blitz. You saw Nathan Gary go up the middle of the field, and then Derek Barnett was right there to corral him on in. They're going to need that. In fact, Derek Barnett showed a little progress last week, even against Tyron Smith, a perennial Pro Bowler, one of the best tackle, if not the best left tackle in the league. He beat him for a sack. So we'll see what goes on this next game. I can't wait to see it.
Now, of course, Josh Allen has also struggled throwing the deep ball this season, but he does have one of the fastest receivers in the game in John Brown. So that Eagles defensive front and Jim Schwartz with his blitzing scheme had better try to confuse him and get to him in a hurry before he can look down the field and find John Brown.
Well, for the past couple of weeks, we've made average quarterbacks look like they're all world. You know what I mean?
Good.
So with the addition of a couple of cornerbacks back, especially Mills, coming back into the fold. Yeah, we say, Mills gets beat by the double, but I tell you what, he played pretty good this last game.
Yep.
He got beat by, Cooper, but hell, Cooper's a good receiver. He ran a great double move on him and, scored on him. But, still, he didn't score on him, but it was just a long pass. He beat him on. But he was step for step with him. And that's the big thing, as long as he's step for step with him.
All right, so as we just saw in the simulation game, the Bills had a 3rd and 15, and the Eagles' defense held. Buffalo is now punted, so the Eagles will have the ball in offense for the first time of this simulation. And, oh, by the way, the simulation game is brought to you by Nissan. If I don't say that, Barrett's going to get in a lot of trouble. Not me. Barrett's going to get in a lot of trouble.
Choose Nissan today for great offers on your most exciting lineups ever. Shop ChooseNissan.com.
You almost said that flawlessly.
Yeah,
I'm proud of you.
But I almost cursed.
Oh, swing pass, first swing. Oh, no, we can't have this.
Right, trying to run the speed screen to Nelson Aguilar. They should run it to him.
This guy here, Alshon, after what happened in Dallas,
you still don't give him a little.
No, I feel bad for him. I really do. This guy has struggled his whole career here in Philadelphia, man. And last year, you thought he was turning the corner finally. And then he has what happened down in Dallas. And everybody wants to throw him off the Walt Whitman Bridge now, man.
Oh, this is a great play. We call this a toss crack. You get a guy out on the corner, But even though Howard's a downhill runner, you get him out there, block the tight end down, pull Lane Johnson around, try to get him up on the linebacker. They can get some good headway with that, but, you got to make sure that you cut down that outside guy that make him reach the corner.
I don't want to see Jordan Howard in the real game running outside sweep.
Me neither.
Keep that man between the tackles and let him power straight ahead, Barrett.
Well, they were in bus formation.
Yep.
And then, that's kind of what's going on, Carson's right on the cusp of being great, and he just needs a couple of his guys to get in with him. But, just like the pass he overthrew with Alshon, that could have been a touchdown right there.
Yes, it could have.
And it's just not clicking all the way. But I think it's more so he needs to rely more on his guys instead of, just thinking that he can just go to Zach Ertz, because they're not going to give him Zach Ertz.
No, last few games, Zach Ertz has been double-teamed like he hasn't been in quite some time. So you might as well take Zach Ertz out of the equation. These better defenses they're going to face, and let's face it, they faced a good Minnesota defense, a good Dallas defense, and even better Buffalo defense. Oh, by the way, you still got Chicago's defense, New England, and Seattle's defense is all coming in. You don't think they're going to emulate some of the same things
question.
to try to handcuff this Eagles offense?
No question. And if you look at that last.
Oh! Was that a deep ball?
To Alshon.
To Alshon?
But he was covered, too. And he trusted Alshon
to go up and get it.
That's all we need.
I hope Wentz is watching this. Trust the simulation, trust in your talent, trust in Alshon down the field.
Great pass.
Great
Went
pass.
up and got it.
And just like that, we are through the first quarter, no score.
Well,
that's a good thing.
I saw
the way the Eagles offense has played lately.
I saw D-Jax catch the pass before Alshon Coleman.
Okay.
Is there a chance that D-Jax plays?
This week?
Yes.
I don't think so. And I don't think I would bring him out there, and here's the reason why. When you start talking about a groin-type abdomen injury for a guy who needs to stretch that area when he's running as fast as he does, if you aggravate it again, you could be down another 6 or 7 weeks. Prime example, you look at what happened with C.J. Mosley and the Jets. He was rehabbing a groin injury and just saw a report yesterday that he aggravated that injury again, so you don't know how long he's going to be out again now. Now, D-Jack may come back at some point. Hopefully keep your fingers crossed, but, you come back too soon, you're going to do damage that's going to affect you long-term for the remainder of the season.
No question. We talk about fast guys. Fast people get injuries that other people don't know about. Like me too, What do you say? I've never had an ab injury. I know I got one ab. You know what I'm saying? But he's one of those fast guys. Groin, whatever it is, man.
Right.
You don't know what exactly is going on because they don't give that much information. But whatever it is, he should just heal. Come on back after the bye week.
Carson had 2 days to throw this ball and he threw it away. Come on, man.
Wait, we got a question.
We got a question? Okay.
Jimmy T asks, do you think Josh Allen is the real deal?
No, not yet. I think he's a work in progress. I think he has potential. He's had problems throwing the deep balls to his speed receivers. His safety valve has been Cole Beasley, who I think is one of the best underneath receivers in the game still.
Great slot receiver.
But they're going to have to try to stretch the field, so I'm not worried about Josh Allen. The only two things I'm worried about from Buffalo is they have a very good running game that averages almost 136 yards a game. And that defense of theirs, they just suffocate people in submission. They don't give up a lot of points. They don't give up a lot of passing yards. They are one of the best corners in the game in Tre'Davious White. And they have to, in my estimation, arguably the best safety tandem in the game in Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer, who was a 7th-round pick of this team. I believe it was back in 2013.
Poyer, that's right, he was.
Yeah, and they gave up on him in October of that year. And look at what he's done in Buffalo.
Well, sometimes you got to know. They got Jason Peters starting also. Does he start this week?
You know this game's fake. Because Jason Peters not playing.
Oh, D-Jack's in the huddle?
You know this game's fake. So D-Jack hasn't practiced this week. Jason Peters did not practice again today. I don't think you can count on either one of those guys in the field. So it's up to Andre Dillard to contend with a very stout Buffalo defensive line.
Yeah, and these guys are pretty good. Ed Oliver, rookie out of Houston. One of the best young guys, even though he's undersized, but he creates havoc in there because he uses his speed and quickness to get up the field. Kind of reminds me of Randall, John Randall back in the day, or even now Aaron Donald.
Right.
Undersized guys who use their quickness to get up the field and create havoc, man. Penetration kills all run plays, and they're so quick, even on pass plays, they get up the field, get on the offensive lineman's hip, and that's how they get most of their sacks and pressures.
All right, so we've moved ahead now to the third quarter. Buffalo's up 14-3. Now, I will say this. Just like the Eagles' record, the simulation game is also 3-4, although they picked the games along the way differently than the games actually turned out, but they've arrived at the same record as the Eagles, 3-4. So I don't know if Buffalo is going to get that big of a lead on the Eagles. I think they're going to sit back and try to make the Eagles force the Eagles into some mistakes. And I think the Eagles need to do the same thing because Josh Allen will give you an opportunity to pick off some passes.
Yes, he will. He'll give it up, and he really doesn't have the arm that, everybody thought he was going to have coming out of college. So he makes a lot of mistakes with the deep ball. And, if our defense could become more optimistic, they can get up the field. I don't know who the heck we have playing opposite of Fletcher Cox. Who are they again?
I don't know.
I forgot.
Two guys they picked up as practice squads this week are already active on the 53-man roster.
That's crazy.
What does that tell you about the defense?
Man, I thought that they were going to be on the practice squad.
Right.
These guys are on that roster.
All right, we got another question here from Carol H., and she wants to know, was Alshon really the anonymous source?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Okay, next question.
Right. According to
I'm not answering that question.
According to a source.
A source of a source.
The source of a source is close to the team.
Right.
Who doesn't he work for the Steelers?
I don't know anything about that.
Oh, okay, me neither. All right. You don't
I don't know.
I don't know.
Carol, all we can tell you is the past is in the past. The Eagles have moved on, and so have we.
All right, let's say, look, Devin asked. It says, I got one ad. It says, Barrett got one ad. How many does D got?
Dang! And man, why you want to know my personal business, man? I don't have abs. I have a barrel. There's a difference. I don't believe in abs.
Oh, my goodness.
I've abstained from abs. Jordan Howard on the outside again.
Jordan Howard. We got to run to Jordan Howard.
You can't run a Clydesdale to the outside.
You think a Clydesdale?
Yeah.
What is Sanders is a sprinter?
Sanders is a thoroughbred. He's a Clydesdale.
Well, any way it goes,
Power runner.
You run him up the middle, man. He's always falling forward, man. So I like the way he's been running.
Still 14-3. Birds have a 3rd and 8 from their own 41.5. They need some momentum here. What in the world was that?
Let's hope it's not.
Yeah, I've seen that too many times the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, we have.
I don't want to see that. No. Carson's like, well, he's supposed to be there, but I don't know what happened. One of these receivers has to step up, B. Brooks. If they're going to double up, Zach Ertz, Alshon, Aguilar, Mac Hollins, Whiteside, one of these names that have been in the witness protection program as of late need to step up and contribute big time.
Well, and I don't quite understand it because it's just one player that's out. We're talking about an offense that's supposed to be playing lights out this year. That was supposed to be the creme of the creme of all offenses as far as, scoring points.
Absolutely.
And really, they only have, 2 players. They have Djax out and Sproles out. Those are really the only 2 players of impact that we thought were going to be impact players. And we still can't move the ball. That's what I'm saying. They have too many toys in the toy chest not to be a good offense at this point. I'm not trying to hear anything about them not being on time. I watched the game. When Doug says they're a play away, they actually are a play away. That each person takes that play off, though.
There's only 40 plays. Though.
Right. So they have 40 guys. They have one guy miss this play on this block, or one guy drops a pass here, or one guy not hitting the hole here. And that's what's going on, man. Everybody's taking turns at being lousy instead of taking turns at being great, man.
Frank Gore, that's a bad man.
Yeah, he is.
He might be in the twilight of his career, but he's still a heck of a ball carrier and difficult to bring down.
You saw Big Red, one of Big Red's disciples, one of his young guys on his coaching staff.
And they're doing well. They're off to, a 5-1
5-1,
start. And they, a couple of weeks ago, they had New England in Buffalo. Held New England to 16
This we don't want to see here.
No, we don't want to see.
And that's what he does, too. He's definitely a guy that can get out there and run. Good thing we don't run a lot of man because, when you're man, those DBs turn around and they can't see him when he does scramble. And
actually, he's the number 2 rusher on the team for Buffalo.
Big guy, too.
They've got a great young back who's been banged up, only played 3 games in Devin Singletary.
Yep.
They have T.J. Yeldon there to go along with Frank Gore. Frank Gore has been the workhorse. But they've got some guys that can run the football. A nice tackle, nice open field tackle there. We need to see a lot more of that because I'm tired of watching Eagles DBs missing tackles. I'm sorry. I'm just tired of watching it, man.
Linebackers, too, and we don't talk about that either. But they have young linebackers still trying to learn to play the game. Nathan Gary been asked to go out there and start middle linebacker position.
Sure.
Camu Gouget-Hill, he's been asked, coming off an injury to play the last 3 games. And, they're learning, where they fit, where their fits are in this offense. And then, is he going to be back?
Singletary?
No. Linebacker, 53.
I don't know, man. I got to see the latest injury report. I'll see if I can dial it up before we leave the simulation game here. But I don't know. Yeah, it's not good. So here's the Eagles injury report as of today, which is what, Thursday? These are players who did not practice for the Eagles on Thursday. Nigel Bradham,
53, yep.
Deshaun Jackson,
10.
Tim Jernigan,
93.
Avonte Maddox,
I forget what number.
Jason Peters,
71.
And Darren Sproles,
43.
That's a whole lot of talent sitting on the sideline.
That's a whole lot of money on the sideline.
Yeah. Yep.
I know, Doug. You tired, man.
He
tired.
He tired of answering the same questions. You're not drinking enough coffee in the morning, man. You better get a V8.
You got to do something to get these guys hyped, man. We hear all these rumors going around in the locker room, man. I mean, we talk about a culture. That used to be the strong point of the Eagles, the culture that they had established.
Yes.
That culture, I think, is a little flawed right now because they're allowing things they didn't allow before. Yeah, it is, man. I mean, just watching film and checking out what they do. They aren't doing the same things. I remember back in the day. Remember the way they used to go down and pick guys, offensive linemen used to go down and pick guys off, around the ball carrier, to keep them from hitting their backs or hitting their receivers.
Right.
Big Runyon going down there, Trey Thomas going down there. I don't even see that anymore, man. I don't see him going down there, Evan Mathis running down and hitting the guy, that's standing over the receiver. I don't see that. So I don't see them running after the catch. I don't see them following after the ball. So even the first fumble they had when Dallas got it fumbled, it was a defensive lineman that backtracked and ran down the field, was hustling, and was able to pick it up. Where was the offensive line running down there also?
True.
To pick guys off or even to just be down there to help get the fumble, man. Those guys were sitting there watching.
So you're saying right now the team has somewhat of a defeatist attitude?
It's just not the attitude that I'm used to seeing.
Okay.
When you're an elite player, when you're on an elite team, you do elite stuff. You do things that elite teams do.
Okay.
And then when I was playing, like when we won a Super Bowl, we would run even after the ball was thrown. We'd run down the field to see if we could hit somebody or just do something. You know what I mean? We don't just stand there. You can't stand there. There shouldn't be any walking on the field. Period. I know that's old school, man, but sometimes you need that old school, man.
All right, Ricky wants to know: is this Eagles season salvageable?
I'll probably let you know after Sunday again,
No,
man.
Ricky wants to know now, man. Not after Sunday.
But from what I've seen, I would have to say not really.
Ooh, man.
Because
the eternal optimist?
I'm always, man. I'm tired of people always talking about, I'm a homer. Boy, I got to be a homer
You ought
realist.
to change your name to Homer. Homer Brooks.
I can't help it that I love my team, man. I love my team. But I can see the good in a lot when I sit down and watch the film. Like I said, there are plays in which I saw greatness that just wasn't fulfilled by just one player not playing up to expectation.
Right.
It was a screenplay to Howard. And people didn't even know it was a screenplay because none of the offensive linemen got out. How are we running a screenplay and no offensive linemen get out? Those are the things that I'm talking about, man.
Here's the thing I have to say. We all knew this 6-game stretch, 3 at home, 3 on the road was going to be
another drop pass.
Another drop pass. You guys playing with oven mitts on. All right,
they got to take the turkey out.
So right now they're 0-2 on this 3-game road stretch. You got a tough team coming up in the Buffalo Bills. Then you got to go home to face Chicago, New England, and Seattle. It's imperative they come out of this thing at least 3-3. And even more so, you have to win this game. I think the 2 most winnable games on this 6-game stretch is Buffalo and Chicago, to which Chicago's offense is struggling.
Oh, there we go.
We got a touchdown?
Yes, sir.
Who caught it?
Alshon.
About time.
Mr. Jeffrey, appreciate that.
There you go.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
What? Are you mocking it?
No, man.
Alshon, that wasn't me. See, I got to go cover these guys in the locker room.
I know, man.
You sit back here giggling and stuff. I'm not messing with these guys, man.
I just be telling Alshon, don't cuss now. Don't cuss now. Alshon, don't
cuss. You can't tell Alshon not to cuss, though.
That's my dude.
He has one favorite word.
What word is that?
No, I'm not saying the word.
This isn't TV.
I am not saying a word.
You can say it, man.
I'm not saying it. You can't get me to do it. Not going to do it. My family watching this, man. I got to go home and answer to people in my house. Oh, okay. Yeah. But you got to come out 3-3 of this, man, because if you don't, you're in trouble.
It's imperative that he plays well, too.
Alshon?
Give him a shot, man.
He can't play well if the quarterback's not getting him the ball.
And that's what I said. Carson's got to go. He's got to go into that toy box and start trusting other players, man.
Alshon should get 15 targets.
No question.
15.
No question.
I don't care if they put 3 men on him. Let him go up and use that wingspan and get at least 50% of those balls.
And that's the nature of how he plays. He's never going to create separation with straight speed. He creates separation with his size,
and
his
arms,
catch
and
radius.
Wingspan.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's where he catches the separation. No, he's always covered, but never covered because he can get open. He can get the ball, man.
You get smart about a week.
Man, I keep telling you that, man.
I told you.
I've been telling you about Alshon.
I told you months ago.
Okay. That's why what do I call Alshon?
What?
What do I call Alshon?
Hitter Mitch?
No. I ain't say that, dog. I call him my chain mover, man. That's what I've been saying.
I'm going to give you that. You did call him.
He's my chain mover, man. He will get you the first down, man. Rely on him.
Hey, look, Sarah wants to know, does Doug deserve more blame than the players? Well, that's a good question. Thank you, Sarah.
He deserves some of the blame, man, because I need a little more.
She said who deserves more of the blame? More of the blame. Players or Doug?
I'm going to answer the way I want to answer. I'm going to say he needs to have.
Excuse me.
He needs to have some of the blame.
Up.
Because we need to be more innovative in how we call plays. Right. We need to do more in that offense. I mean, there's not a lot of movement and not just movement in as far as, receivers going in motion and things of that nature, but also in moving the pocket, run waggle plays. Waggle plays are when you take the backside guard and you pull him around as almost an escort to the quarterback. And he sits there and he blocks it for the quarterback, gives the quarterback a little more time to go down the field, to go deep to wide receivers. Or we can run boot, man, more boot protection. We got 2 really good tight ends that you run boot protection with. You know, roll them out, you know, hit them going across on those drags coming across the field, you know, the shallow crosses coming across the field. Or let's do more draw plays. You know, when they did draw plays, they ran them pretty good. When they ran the screen, if they didn't ran the screen right, if Sayamalo had got out and blocked Van Der Esch on that play, they'd probably bumped their head on the goalpost, man.
Wow.
It was wide open with guys in front of them.
Now, I asked Carson Wentz at his press conference on Wednesday, do you think, I said, Carson, do you think you individually and this offense collectively would be a lot more effective if they moved you out of the pocket a lot more? You know, going into training camp, Carson talked about how he wanted to be more of a pocket presence. Well, that isn't working out well because, number one, his receivers aren't getting separation. His primary receiver, Deshaun Jackson, is not anywhere to be found, and we don't know when he's coming back. And he's taking a lot of unnecessary hits. So he said, yeah, you know what, that's something we got to look at more. I think if you allow Carson to use his legs a little bit more and roll out of that pocket and give the defense the mindset that there's a possibility that Carson could take off and run at any given moment, I think that's going to open up some things because now your DB has to keep one eye on Carson and one eye on the guy he's covering. He can't do both.
And he's now not a target sitting right in the back of that offensive line. It gives him more of a read, you know, or he might be over here as opposed to just being sitting right behind him.
Yes.
It gives the offensive line a better way to block for him instead of just a traditional way in which they just let him meet at the quarterback in the back.
All right, we've got a $1:45 left in this game. The Bills have a 2nd and 8. They draw play right up the middle. Oh, they just busted that one up. That's another thing that's concerning. This Eagles defense, run defense, that was a proud run defense, last 2 games have been gouged. Minnesota ran through them for 122 yards, and then Dallas ran through them for $189. They've got to plug the leaks in their run defense in a hurry, B. Brooks, because this Bills team will try to run the ball.
No, they're not going. They're going to run the ball. That's their only saving grace, especially with this quarterback. Allen is not one of those guys who can go out the pocket and just throw down the field.
Right.
He has to have the run to either boot protection or he has to have a run fake in order for him to run play action to get the ball down the field. He doesn't read well. You know, you got to cut the field in half for him so he can get the ball to his receiver.
All right, here we go. Seconds ticking away. 42 seconds left in the game. It just sped up to 27 seconds left in the game. Bills have the ball 2nd and 7 at the Eagles 49-yard line.
Victory formation.
Yes, they are. This could be it. Eagles have no more timeouts left.
That's it.
That's your ball game. That's it. Final score, Buffalo 14, Eagles 9. I don't care about no simulation game, man. This game's been lying all season.
You think the Eagles are going to win?
Huh?
You think the Eagles are going to win?
Huh?
I'm asking you a question.
What?
Answer the question.
What?
Who you with? The Eagles going to win or lose? Who's winning this game?
Win which week? Oh, you mean Sunday?
Yeah.
I picked Buffalo 21-17. I picked Buffalo. On the strength of their defense, I picked Buffalo 21-17. I think Buffalo's going to be able to run the ball just enough, especially with these makeshift defensive tackle situation the Eagles are dealing with right now. The linebackers are suspect. I think Buffalo's going to be able to run the football against this Eagles front, and I think their defense is going to suffocate the Eagles offense. Why are you looking at me like that?
All right. Well, that's it for this simulation presented by Nissan.
Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. ShopChooseNissan.com. Do we get free cars out of this deal yet?
Nissan.
Yo, Nissan, what's up? Seriously? We want a car. Get him a little one. Give me an SUV. And our producer, Crank, he wants 2 cars. For Barrett Brooks, I'm Derek Gunn. We out of here.